Hey, Jimmy, can you hear?
What's that, Commissioner? You cut out a little bit.
Yes, I'm going to direct the meeting. Commissioner Kirschner and Thomas will have a few remarks, but you let us know when we're ready to start.
Yep, we are live on Facebook and we are recording now, so you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order, and let's start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Sure, we got the. Welcome, everyone. My name is Tony Paradiso. I'm Seneca County Commissioner, and on behalf of Commissioner Kirschner and Thomas, we'd like to welcome all of you to today's meeting. All three of us will be on the call today. In addition to this call this morning at 10 o'clock, we will have one tonight at 7 o'clock. Commissioner Kirschner, would you like to make any comments?
Yeah, I'll start off. Thank you, Commissioner. I have read some correspondence here of late regarding EMS in Seneca County. As you all know, we have had multiple conversations, but I wanted to make certain that everyone on the call understands that our only motivation is to have the best system, the best EMS system in Seneca County that we can. We continue to appreciate deeply our volunteers, and we want to thank them up front for what they have done. The only reason for the conversation is to make certain that we are able to get to someone if they are needing us as quickly and as efficiently and as professionally as possible. That is the only reason for this conversation. We are not asking to revamp the whole system. We're asking to take a look at the system to make certain that we're doing the best job we can do for the people that we represent. That is the only motivation. There is no side reasons that we're trying to do this. It's simply to do the best job we can. That's what I have to say.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yeah, I just want to say that I applaud our volunteers. They've gotten us where we're at, and that's been remarkable. And that we are certainly looking at ways to continue to embrace our volunteers and enhance what they do. You know, there was a impending problem, and we asked Ken Majors to bring us a solution, not just bring us the problem. And so he has put forward a proposal that would fix it. It's not the only fix, but it's certainly one worth considering. And so, this is the phase where we're gathering input for, what the current system's doing and where it's succeeding, where it's failing, and a path forward to get us 5, 10, 50 years down the road. So, I think my mind's open, but, I appreciate the work that Ken Majors has done for us, and I absolutely applaud all of our volunteers. So.
Yeah, and I guess I would just like to add that we have 5 districts. We also have a section of the county, Pleasant, Adams, and Green Springs, that are also interested in this conversation and possibly coming into the county EMS system. We have volunteer fire departments that are involved. We have many volunteers that are contributing. The districts have a tax base in place. We as commissioners in the county are contributing dollars and resources to EMS. And, we just need to revisit it. The trend line for sustainability under the current system doesn't look good 3 to 5 years down the road. And so I think I'm agree with my fellow commissioners. I'm approaching this with an open mind. I would ask everyone on the call to do the same. Listen to others, state your concerns. We can't change this, we can't improve this unless all of us work together. And that's the bottom line goal. If there's a better way to deliver quality service, as Commissioner Kirschner and Thomas said, there's not anything more important than when somebody hits 911, that no matter what time of day, when and where, that we give good coverage. Not that we're not giving good coverage, but looking forward long term, our EMS director has brought it to our attention that the current processes that are in place just can't sustain themselves. So we just need to be open-minded. I'm looking forward to today's call. So as we move on, I'd like to invite Ken Majors in for some brief comments. Then we will open conversation up to everyone online. There's no better way to do this, so we've decided maybe just to go down in alphabetical order. Townships, villages. I will call out the township, and then anyone that wants to speak can. Jimmy will allow public comment, and we'll just kind of work through this as we're live on this recorded Zoom call. Anyone that's on this call now at 10 is also invited to be on the call at 7. Those of you that are on this call and feel maybe we missed somebody, please let them know they're available to join us tonight at 7.
Hey, Tony, I think we need to do a roll call.
Okay. So Nikki's requesting a roll call. And we are, who are we roll calling other than the commissioners?
Just the commissioners.
Okay. You got it.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Here.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Here.
Commissioner Thomas.
I am here.
Thank you, Tony.
Okay, thank you. I guess we're official. So with that, Ken, you're up.
I think I unmuted at the same time he unmuted me and it reversed it. So
Correct.
I've been asked to keep this very brief, so I'm going to do this in less than 5 minutes because I think most everybody has had the opportunity to look back at the proposal that I put together. And I want to remind everybody that that's a long-term proposal. That's an operational plan for the future. And you can look as far into the future as you like, and that's how far that takes us. But I'm going to begin by saying this is not a new idea. This is not a new discussion. We've been talking about this since 2007 at least, probably before that. And then formally, we talked about it in 2013 and 14. The key here for me, and I think for the overwhelming majority of the people on this call, is to certainly not turn our backs on the volunteers that built this system over 40 years of hard work and selfless sacrifice. So why did I pick 4 squads? Simply because that's how many squads we've been getting this done with for the last 15 years at least. Most days, and I'm gonna explain that a little bit. Most days we have 4 squads in service. We have 6 squads total. We used to have 7. We have 6 squads total. And most of the time there's 4 of them are in service. That's for any number of reasons. Most of the time it's because we don't have the personnel to keep all 6 of them in service. 4 squads has been getting it done, and they've been getting it done remarkably well. What I mean by that is shoot times of less than 5 minutes, meaning by the time dispatch is done dispatching you, your squad is en route within 5 minutes. And we have scene times of less than 10 to 12 minutes. We're well within the national average. We're doing a remarkable job with the people that we have. Nothing, you can't say anything bad about these people. They're getting it done. Now, the problem with that, we're running out of people, and the graphs that I showed in the original discussion show that. 140 volunteers in 2007, we're down to 73. Between 40 and 50 of them are active every month. That's not a lot of people when you spread them over 6 ambulances. We've had the Echo since 2008, which was a part-time endeavor. In 2017, we went full-time. Currently, right this minute, we are augmenting volunteer staffing with paid medics. What my new idea is to augment paid staffing with volunteers. I'll explain that a little bit. Think of this new plan as additional Echo paramedics that actually are mobile. So if you need a paramedic in your station in Republic, we can put one there in a paid situation that day for either 12 hours or 24 hours. And we do that with 2, 4, however many personnel we get. A lot of folks looked at that operational plan and saw that $3.2 million budget and like, ain't no way in hell we can afford that. I agree. So let's do it. Let's talk about half that. $1.5 million, and we could put 2 full-time squads on, one on the east side, one on the west. I'm not going to talk about where we'll put them. I've already given you an idea where I think they should likely be. The things that we also need to remember is the reason we're doing this is the diminishing amount of volunteers that we have, which I've already talked about. We are adding more volunteers every year, but the problem is sustainability. We are unable to sustain those folks. I talked to some coordinators who I'm very good friends with who've been in this system for 30 plus years. And they tell me, they're like, you know, it used to be we get a guy and he'd go through class and in a year he'd be on the street and he'd hang around 10 years. Now, for every 10 people we send to school, we get one that lasts longer than one certification cycle. A lot of folks move on, they get a better job, they move on, they get out of here. I'm absolutely fine with being a stepping stone, but we have to have sustainability to be able to survive here. We need to make those changes. So we're currently asking way too much of the existing volunteers. We've got volunteers out here that are volunteering 300 hours per month. I could name you several of them. I'm not going to do that. 200 hours a month is too much. When an average person works a full-time job, that's 160 hours. Then you volunteer 200 hours in your township for your joint ambulance district. We are literally wearing people out. There's a lot of ideas out there that, you know, this one is just one of them. We can adjust this up or down. I'm saying if four squads is what we're going to have eventually. 20 years from now, I may be dead, but I guarantee you this county will be covered by 4 squads. And we have documentation to prove that that's the best way to do it. We did an EMS study at the national level in 2017, which we got paid for by the Rural Hospital Council. That is available on our website for download. Put on your reading glasses, it's 44 pages long. I have a 16-page third service EMS thesis that if anybody's interested in reading it, why that's a good idea, that's good. The next thing, only thing I want to say last is we need to stop focusing on the quantity of people we have so that we can begin to focus on the quality of care we deliver. That's very important. If you want to know about what the standards of care are and the scope of practice, I urge you to go to www.ems.gov and look at what the feds recommend and know what we do, and you'll see what I mean. We need to elevate our standard of care. This is a very determined, well thought out, and it wasn't just me thinking of it. I used a lot of experts from Mayo Clinic all over the country to help me design a system that'll take us the next 40 years. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Ken. We have a large audience, so for the essence of time and respect of everyone's time, I would like to, I will read off a township. Anyone from that township that would like to speak, please state your name, and if you're a trustee or part of EMS, that would be helpful. Go ahead and make your statement or ask your question. We are going to log all these questions, and we really value all your input. And then we will get back with everyone at the end as to, the summary of today's meeting. So let's start with Adams Township. Anyone from Adams on the call? Anyone from Adams Township? Jimmy, you good? Was I muted?
Nope, you're good. So, Commissioner, I think what we're going to do, because we've also got 41 people on the Facebook Live, I'm going to go ahead and put the phone number out through there as well in case anybody wants to join us on Zoom so they can come forward as well. So I'm going to put the information in. I'm working on that right now. If you're calling us through the phone line, you may be muted if you were trying to speak. So if you do want to speak up, just hit *6, and then that should unmute you and you can come forward. So go ahead and do that call again there, Commissioner Paradiso, and I will put out this information through Facebook again.
Okay, anyone from Adams Township would like to speak? Okay, we're going to move on to Attica. Anyone from Attica on the line would like to speak? Okay, Attica Venice Reed. Anyone from Attica Venice Reed would like to speak? We will get public comment and at the end, and if we miss anybody or anybody joins late, you'll have an opportunity at the end. So we have the 3 A's out there: Adams, Attica, Attica Venice Reed. On to Bascom. Anyone from Bascom or Hopewell Loudon would like to speak?
This is Kevin Reinhardt, Bascom EMS Joint Ambulance District Board member. At this time, we're working really well together. We've had some issues probably at the beginning of the year. We've worked all them out, and I don't think we've ever been stronger. They've all stepped up and have got some good plans in place. And right now, we'd like to, stay the way we are if we could. And I don't know if there's a chance that the areas that are struggling, if you could start a district that in the future that others could join as they, maybe we'll have issues 5, 10 years or 3, 4, 5 years down the road, but that'd be something I was wondering if you could think about.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. Anyone else from Bascom? Hopewell area? Yes, you guys do a great job over there. Appreciate that. Anyone from Bettsville? Bettsville area? Jimmy, I'll pause and yield back to you throughout this just in case I'm missing something, okay?
Yeah, that sounds great, Commissioner. And also just to remind people, if you don't fall under these categories or if we missed anybody, at the end, we'll just have a public comment time where you can come forward and speak your piece. So stay tuned for that.
Anyone from Big Spring Township? Big Spring. Okay, Bloom Township, or the Village of Bloomville?
Yes, sir, Commissioner. It's Marty Chambers. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, welcome, Marty.
Okay. All right. At any rate, I would like to, in regards to Kenny's plans and the way they're laid out, they kind of fall right in line with what we've been doing as far as forming our districts. Okay. Once we got our districts formed and we're starting to get, starting to gel a little bit, the natural progression would be to, seems to me, to utilize one of Kenny's plans. That way we always have local control and we always have an influx of people. We've always had an issue with people getting their training and moving on, and that's not necessarily a real bad thing because we just need to adapt to getting new people and learning how to better utilize them while they're here. With our districts being like they are, I think we're postured to keep improving. And up until Kenny's plans there, we didn't really have a good target. And I think if we look at that and move ahead, I think it's very doable, and it's very doable with volunteers, and it's very doable retaining local control and influence. I think that would build our system and make everybody feel very good about it and give us a tremendous amount of longevity. Jumping into contracting our services out, 911 is not a big moneymaker for ambulance services. And I think we can sustain what we have with our volunteers, and his plan just helps us utilize everybody better and helps us grow our own system. So that's all.
Okay, commissioners, anybody want to say anything, or I'll keep going if you don't? Okay, we'll invite our friends from Clinton Township in, and everyone knows they're part of the city of Tiffin system. Anyone from Clinton Township? Eden Township?
Tony,
Yeah.
just got a call this morning from Dennis Balker. Figure if they weren't on, I'd at least say something. He said
Okay.
to pass it along.
Dennis lives in Clinton.
This is Clinton, yes.
Yep.
He said right now they had a contract with Tiffin, that they are happy with their service, and they'd like to keep that service, but they also don't want to be excluded from future conversations. So just got that call this morning, so I figured I'd share.
Okay. Good, thank you. Anyone from Eden Township? Mayor Keckler, I see you're on the call. Fostoria. Any comments?
No, Tony, we're just, gathering information and, seeing how this whole thing plays out. Our concerns was with the people living this Fostoria city limits, and any kind of issues that might come from any type of a EMS levy that might, since our folks are covered by the city EMS system, right. We're just be assistance is how we can.
Okay, we know you help our friends in Jackson Township. You've got a little agreement there for part of it. So anyone from Green Springs online?
Yeah, Commissioner Paradiso, it's Adam Greenslade. How are you?
Good morning, Mayor. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, Ken, commissioners, I appreciate the fact that we're having this discussion now. Obviously, we've been involved in the discussion for quite a while now. And while I don't think the plan is perfect, I think it's a plan in the right direction that Ken presented. I look forward to many discussions past this. I guess the one concern I have right now about the plan, it looks like our primary care for Green Springs would actually be Sandusky County, which in order for me to pass a levy here in Green Springs, it's gonna be real tough for me to tell our residents that, the primary care is Sandusky County, but we're gonna pay for an ambulance in Seneca. So just one issue that I see right now with the plan, just having reviewed it last night. But above all, I just want to say thank you, because I do feel like we're taking a real look at the issue now. The out of service times have increased every year. I haven't seen them in my view go down, other than the fact that now we have 24/7 coverage here in Green Springs. And that's not a slight on the volunteers that are now, because they're not the reason why there's out of service times. I wish we had more volunteers and could continue the way that we're going, but that's not the way society is going right now as far as volunteerism goes, and everything like that. So I just want to say thank you for looking at this. A consistent level of care across the county is vital. It's important that we have that, and we'll support in any way that we can beyond that. So thanks.
Okay, thanks for your comments. And I just want to remind everyone, we talked to Marty over in Bloomville, and we've talked to Hopewell and now Green Springs. We're a diverse county, and there are different needs, throughout the county in different situations. So as we gather this information, I think we're all smart enough to, not screw up what's working, but try to improve and try to fill in where those needs are, where we can all help, and then try to get this baseline where Ken is, that we can then move that forward and constantly improve. But we appreciate you joining us, Mayor, and we look forward to having more discussions. Thank you. Anyone from Hopewell Township specifically want to comment? Jackson Township? How about Jackson, Liberty, Bettsville, the joint district there? Anyone from Jackson?
Yes, Commissioner Paradiso. This is Steve Nader, and
welcome.
Hi, thank you. I'm a trustee for Jackson Township, and I'm also a board member of Jackson, Liberty, Bettsville Joint EMS District. I guess I want to first thank everybody for looking at this. This is something that's been ongoing, as Ken had mentioned, for quite a while, and it's going to be something that we're going to be talking about a long time in the future. I see one issue here that I think is going to be a problem, and that's the county is getting fractured as far as, instead of being a complete county-wide system, we're all going in different directions, and everybody's looking out, rightfully so, for their own entity. But what's happening is somebody has a better deal going on now, they're opting not to be part of the county, which then makes the ones left have a very expensive system. And I don't know what the answer to that is, other than it to be a complete county thing. There'll be some time in the future, the ones that opt out will later on say, I want to be part of the county, part of this system, but later, if you plan for who currently wants in, you won't have the stations at the correct spot to be countywide. So like I said, I don't know what the answer is here, but I see when everybody's going different directions that it's going to be so fractured that it may end up nothing actually happening as a change. The only other comment I'd like to make, as far as the ones that are left that would like to do this, to get us a levy passed. Being involved in a few levies, I know a little bit about it, but I think there's two things that you have to do to have a successful levy. Number one, you have to show need. And I think that's the easy part. I think there's no doubt that we have a need to have an EMS system in our county and in the future. But the other thing is to show that the money that the public is trusting you with, that you're spending it wisely. And that's both on what you're asking for and also what you currently are entrusted with. And I'm not trying to put the commissioners on the spot here, because I'm sure there's a reason, but one burning question I have when I look at our county to the north, how they are able to fund their countywide system with a sales tax, and we are basically collecting the same rate of sales tax, but we cannot fund ours or even the rural portion of ours. There's got to be, a couple, either they're generating more money with their sales tax than we are, or we have more expenses, or a combination of the two. And I think that somehow we need to be transparent with the public on the money issues as well. And I'm not saying it at all suggesting that it's misspent. I'm just saying that we need to be able to show the public this. And there's going to be multiple things come up later, but these are the 2 points that I'd like to make today. Thank you.
Steve, thank you for your comments. We know how hard you work, and those are two very good points. We're not going to get into solutions right now, but those issues will need to be addressed as we move forward. Okay, those are very good points. Anyone else from Jackson Liberty Township on the call?
No, Tim?
Okay, how about Loudon Township? New Riggle.
Hi, this is Emily from New Riggle EMS. First off, I want to say, I've been part of this for over 20 years, and not one of us went into this ever worried about the money or any of that. It's always been about the passion of taking care of our communities. So the idea that this may all change or go away is heartbreaking, to say the least. I think from my point though is I appreciate an opportunity for people to ask questions, but we really don't know what questions to ask because we're really not sure what direction we're looking at going to. Ken has a plan. Is that the plan that we're looking at? We're hearing a lot of rumors. Nobody really gains much when there's rumors going around because then that just fuels the fire of everything. So I think I just want to put it out there that's at this point, one of the biggest concerns is that of all of that sort of thing that we're hearing. And, if the focus is going to be on really, truly supplementing the volunteers or sort of taking over what's going on. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Emily. I think, I understand your sentiment, and that's a great question. In the county, if we add our friends from Green Springs, Adams, and Pleasant, we have 12 townships, 6 villages that are operating under the current system, okay? And the volunteers, those that are still standing, are doing a tremendous job. We just don't have enough of them. So we're trying to not blow up the current system, but we're trying to augment that and see where we can find pockets of need and how there just may be a better way that we can structure it and do it. And one of the things Ken brought up is maybe, if we don't have volunteers, maybe we can sprinkle in some paid people. But I want to be careful jumping to the end because we just don't want to get there yet. We're gathering information, and your input is very important, and we appreciate your sentiment. So that's very important. So thank you. Stand by and stay involved with us as we move forward. We appreciate it. Anyone else from Big Spring, Seneca, New Riggle area? Either the townships or EMS?
Hi, this is, can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hi, this is Darren Mack. I am from New Riggle. I'm one of the Echo guys. I think it's important that we stick with Seneca County EMS, and we don't know what the plan of action is going to be quite yet. But these talks, I think, are actually productive. We have had some of these talks before where nothing came of it. So I think it's important that we go with Seneca County EMS and see what path this leads us. And if we don't agree on that towards the end, well, that's one thing. But I think these talks are definitely productive. And that's all I got.
Thank you. Jimmy, I'll pause.
Tony.
Ken, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to interject one thing. To Emily's point, we never plan to get rid of volunteers, ever. we will always have use and need for volunteers. And another thing that I want to make sure that we make clear is some of the volunteers that we have, like you, Emily, and like Darren, have expertise far and above anything that we could or any EMS system in the country could afford in the education and the experience you bring to this system. And I'm not just singling you two out, because there's hundreds of people who have volunteered with this system, and some of them still do, who have expertise far beyond that of an EMT or a paramedic. And you guys know who you are. And I do not ever want to limit your ability to help your community members, because I know your community members deserve your care and treatment. And I want to make sure that what I do for you, Emily, is make sure that on a day where you may have limited personnel, but you're available, I can give you either an EMT or a paramedic who can run with you, who may not know your area, but you do. And we put him with you as a paid person working with a dedicated volunteer with experience and education. And we have just created a force to be reckoned with in EMS that could be not compared to any other ambulance in Seneca County or probably all of Ohio. And I know that sounds a little extreme, but you know what I'm talking about. And that's what I wanted to say, and that's all I have.
Commissioners, anyone want to comment? Okay, Jimmy.
Commissioner Paradiso, yeah, we, two quick things. There's a comment on Facebook that I think either maybe you or Director Majors might be able to answer. So this comes from Jason Biller. He asks, if you sprinkle in paid people, how much will that hurt people wanting to volunteer? And so this might be kind of a hard question to answer, but can either of you kind of take that on?
Ken, I'll yield to you.
Absolutely. There are some people who would be attracted to be paid here. And I think that, yes, once we cross that boundary into paid personnel, it would make it challenging for everybody who wants to volunteer, because you'd have to take a choice. You'd have to choose whether you'd want to be a paid, part paid combination on-call type guy, or would you like to be a volunteer? But we have a lot of our current volunteers who have no interest in the money. I think we heard that from Emily and maybe a couple others. We couldn't afford them. I mean, they're professional, they're registered nurses, some of them are advanced practice nurses. They're not doing this for the money. So there always will be volunteers who are true volunteers. The compensated $3.50 an hour, some of them, and I'm not going to mention who they are, some of them don't even take that money. They donate it back. So they're true volunteers even now. Other districts have decided to split that $3.50 amongst a bunch of different people. So they're making like $1.12 an hour or something. So I don't think it will hurt our ability to attract talented young professionals who have an interest in serving their community for the greater good of that community. What we need to do as leaders is build a system where we have room for everyone, including a career path in EMS that can take you anywhere. You can stay here and be a volunteer, you can work as a nurse and you can still work as an EMT, or you can be an emergency room doctor in Dayton and still come home and run on the weekends as a volunteer if you choose to. And those are the kind of people we have currently, and I don't ever want to see that go away. It makes our system so strong that we have 45 people on this call, and I'll bet most of them have interest in this. And that's how I would say that, and I appreciate that question. It's a very good question.
Commissioner, we also have in the Zoom call, I think it's Renee Reinhardt who had her hand raised. So I'm going to go ahead and ask her to unmute and have her come forward. Sorry for the wait time on that.
Welcome, Renee. Still have a mute, Jimmy.
Yeah, make sure there you go.
There we go. All right, sorry about that. again, I want to thank everybody for getting on and showing the interest in this. It looks like there's some people out there that aren't even volunteers that are concerned about what's going on in the future. It seems like everybody on the team side of hosting the Zoom has been talking about burnout for the EMTs and, stretching us to the limit. But nobody's ever really came out to ask those volunteers that we have, those 45 that keep getting brought up, what is our opinion? Today is the first that we've actually gotten to have any input in that. And that concerns me because, again, we're talking about us and what we're doing. Those of us that are doing this, we are stretched to the limit. We try to get new people and retention is an issue. We all know that. But going forward, we need to know what's going on. So again, like Emily said, there are some awful rumors going on. How do we know what the truth is? And keeping us informed is huge in keeping all of us as a group together and keeping that support that we all need to continue with.
Commissioner Iso.
Yes, Mike, go ahead.
Renee, thank you for your comments. We have, over the past few years, went to a number of EMS meetings where there were volunteers there and have spoken to anyone who wanted to be there as a volunteer to listen to which way we were heading. So I just want to make it clear that we have made every effort to come to joint ambulance district meetings, to come to township meetings, and to hear the voices of those people that are volunteering. So this is not the first time that we've had these conversations. And it's not the first time that we've invited folks to come to the commissioners' meetings and voice their opinion. This is the first time when we've got it put together to the point where everybody's interested. And I don't want to say we're at a crisis point, but we are at a point when we need to act for the future. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there, right? So at this point, we need to have some type of a map going forward. So I'm sorry that you feel like your opinion hasn't been listened to in the past, but I want you to know that anytime you have anything to say as an individual or as an EMT volunteer, please let us know because we'll be happy to address it.
And Renee, I appreciate your comments, and that's what we need. We need people to be frank and tell us how they feel. Okay, but going forward, we will keep you informed, and going forward, we value your opinion, and we're very transparent in this process. So, everyone can say whatever they want, and our whole goal, the reason we're all on this call is we love Seneca County. You love we want to protect everyone, and we want to just deliver the best service we can with the most affordable, most economical way we can possibly do it. And Steve Nader, you had a good point about need and spending current resources wisely. And I think we're just in that information gathering, and we're circling back. So we appreciate that.
So can I just ask a quick question? So obviously it's been brought to you guys' attention. The newest rumors is that somebody had stated from a commissioner's standpoint, apparently, that Tiffin City was going to be covering the entire county. Is that being stated now is not a true statement? Did somebody make that comment to somebody?
I have not.
I haven't.
No, let me answer the question from my standpoint. We are looking at every possible solution that we can. The Sandusky County, for example, has their ambulance district that includes the city of Fremont. So to say that we haven't at least had that discussion is, we've had conversations about what the solutions are. The purpose of this conversation, or the purpose of all these talks and calls, is to come up with the best possible solution that makes the most fiscal sense for Seneca County and makes the most sense for the volunteers who are out there who have dedicated numerous hours to this. Nobody has come up with any conclusion as to how this thing ought to look. At this point in time, the primary solution is the one that Ken Majors has put forth, But that doesn't mean that other things aren't on the table. So no, no one has said the city of Tiffin is going to run the ambulance service for the county. Have we had that discussion and talked about that possibility? Yes. Do we think that that's the probable solution? No. But I think we owe it to the county residents to talk about every style of coverage. Our only purpose, as I stated in the beginning, was to make certain if you call 911 and you're in Seneca County, that somebody is there to take care of you professionally, to get there as quickly as they can. That is the only motivation for any conversation that we're having.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone from Pleasant Township on the call? Pleasant Township. Anyone from Reed? I'll pause. Did I hear someone, Jimmy?
I do not hear anyone now.
Okay.
Remember, though, we can come back at the end, and anybody that was missed can go ahead and come forward at that time.
Good. So anyone from Reed Township or Republic on the...
Hello? Hello?
Go ahead.
This is Mike Dukeshire. I'm a volunteer EMT with Republic.
Welcome, Mike.
How are you guys today?
Thank you. Good.
So a couple things. As being a volunteer, what we see is when can you schedule to run and anything on the immediate front. We don't know what the immediate concerns within the county are. And when we hear of the situation of possible Tiffin EMS taking over or a countywide paid system, it kind of brings upon emotional response amongst the volunteers because, you know, for myself and my wife, who both volunteer in the Republic, we are those 200 to 300 hour people each a month that are sacrificing our time with our jobs and our family to take care of the community. And it does excite emotional response because we're in this for the long haul. We've dug in, we're a part of the community, and we want to continue to do so. And what I think we could ask of the commissioners is to meet with the actual volunteers, the people that are doing the job day to day, and spell out what the actual need for the county is. How many medics or basics or whatever do you need to sustain this system? How much on or out of service time is affordable with other areas covering, and let us form together to come up with a response or a way to fix that before going to a system that's going to be not as cost effective for the taxpayers. Because right now the volunteer program is the most cost saving. And one of the arguments brought up was bringing a higher level care, but Ken Majors has already expressed that we have nurses, paramedics, ex-military. We have people on the volunteer system that are above and beyond what their card says. The experience is beyond amazing what we have in the county. So we ask to bring upon, you know, ask what you need of your community and give us the opportunity to fulfill that need before bailing on the volunteers. And, you know, for like Mr. Greenslade to say that it's a levy issue or Green Springs, I don't feel that Green Springs' opinion in this situation is warranted because they were unable to come together and let their volunteer system succeed. North Central's there, but that system's about ready to pull out and they're going to have another void again. And then Fremont was also brought upon. The Sandusky County EMS system that has 4 ambulances to cover the entire county is also a failing system. They went from a 2 paramedic truck to now they have basics filling in with paramedics, and it's a continued situation where they have to revamp the system to find out ways to save money. And as for Fremont being involved, they only respond with firefighters. Fremont Fire is one of the only fires left in the state of Ohio that doesn't have paramedics on staff. So I don't think it's fair to use their system to compare to what we're doing in Seneca County. So I know there's a lot brought up there, but as a volunteer, I would say that if the commissioners met with the individuals that are in the day-to-day operations, talk to us and tell us what the need is. Come together with us and say, this is what we need to operate at the volunteer system, and give us an opportunity to pass-fail type deal. because we all know that government works at a snail pace. If it's continued to be talked about at the higher end, it's going to take a long time to see change roll down. But if you come right to the people that are doing this every day and tell us what's needed, people can invoke change a lot faster. You know, we have a lot of younger EMTs that would probably be more than willing to go back to school to do the paramedic class if it's an issue of you want a higher skilled medic in those trucks. We could hold community events for more recruiting if that's what's needed to get more people involved. It's just that we don't know what the county wants of us. So we wake up every morning and we're prepared to do our on-call time, and that's it. So if there's more needed of us, give us the opportunity to step forward and do that.
Okay, Mike, I wrote everything down, we recorded it, and I'm not sure we can get tired of thanking the volunteers, so I'm going to do it again. I just want to thank you and all the volunteers for everything you're doing. And I think we're consistent through this call that we value and appreciate our volunteers. We need the volunteers. The volunteers are part of the long-term plan. So we will, as things progress here, we will continue to communicate back with you. It's a big county, it's complex. There's a lot of pockets throughout the county that we're also looking at. So good questions, good, I appreciate that.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Yes.
it's Mayor Greenslade. I just need to interject on one point from Mr. Dukeshire. We worked extremely closely with our volunteers. I think Ken will agree that, you know, Russ Rogers at the time was our coordinator. We coordinated with him intimately. We went to our volunteers. We asked if that $3 stipend was going to make a difference for them, if it was going to add volunteers for us. We had them included in every step of the process in our evaluation. We did 3 public meetings. We did one in Adams, one in Pleasant, one in Green Springs. Ken actually complimented us on the information that we provided as being completely accurate and unbiased in the decision-making process. So to say that we just gave up on it and, you know, walked away from our volunteers just absolutely is not the case. We, you know, we thank them at every meeting. Again, I wish we had more of them. I wish we had more of those volunteers and this was a, you know, sustainable system, but the inconsistencies across the county are the issue. I mean, they absolutely are the issue. When my kids are going to New Regal to play baseball, going to Bascom to play baseball, you know, when we're traveling the county, I just want to know that if something happens, no matter where we're at, you're going to have the consistent level of service no matter where you're at across the county. We did not walk away from the volunteers. We included them in every step of the process as we made our decision. So that's just not true to say. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, if I could speak again, Mr. Greenslade, you know, to bring out the fact that there is an issue without a service is great, but it was never asked, okay, so what is the plan to mitigate that? Right now, Attica has had a fair amount of out of service time, but nobody's asked what's being done about it. But in reality, Bloomville and Republic has been in constant talks with Attica about a joint system or doing what we can to funnel some of our extra EMTs over there to take care of that issue. So to where we're doing Zoom meetings and commissioner meetings to try to find some big plan, you actually have people on the front line that are communicating and coordinating to get an immediate fix for that issue. So I still feel that the volunteers having the ability to pass-fail this situation would be the best immediate result. And going long-term, if we can get out and do a recruiting event with the actual volunteers, we could get more cohesion with the community to get more people involved.
Okay. Anyone else from Republic? Anyone from Scipio or the Scipio Republic area? Seneca Township. Anyone from Thompson Township on the call? Okay, City of Tiffin. And Venice Township. Okay, so we went down in alphabetical order, the townships, the villages, the two cities. We've heard some comments. I'd like to, before we open it up to public comment, do either of the commissioners have anything to say? Commissioner Thomas, any comments from you?
Yeah, I'd just like to say I appreciate everybody being here, and I know that everybody wants to say what's on their mind across the Zoom meeting that's being streamed on Facebook Live. So if anybody wants to chat about this and has additional information or insight, I'm happy to talk to you. My personal cell phone number is 419-618-3806. We want to hear all the input that we can get. So if you don't feel comfortable coming forward now, I'm happy to have the conversation.
Yeah, and Commissioner Paradiso, this is Mike Kirshner speaking. Again, I just want to emphasize the fact that there is no motivation other than to do what we believe is in the best interest of all the citizens of the county. And I've given my cell phone out a number of times. I'm happy to talk to anyone who would like to have that discussion. We've looked at all possibilities from a very high level. And because you have those discussions, obviously rumors begin. Most of those rumors are just that. There is no hidden agenda. There is no reason to become upset about what's going on other than trying to come to a solution that we can all agree to. That's our only reason for having these conversations.
Okay, Jimmy, public comment.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think at this time, I want to remind anyone who's calling in over the phone line that you could press *6 to unmute. So this is for anybody else. If we haven't addressed you or we missed you, go ahead and come forward now.
Hello?
Hi there, Chris. Go ahead.
Yes, this is Chris Daniel. I serve as the fire chief at Bascom Joint Fire District. And I just have a few comments to make from what I've heard here today. Basically speaking, you know, I agree with Ken. We need to find an approach to make a long-term plan that works for this county down the road. My concerns is to make sure that it's an adaptive approach. I really worry about us jumping into a direction that causes us to head down a path that we lose our past paths to be able to continue on. And I know that's everybody's concern, but there's a couple ways to address that. You know, I've heard many times that you as commissioners have said, we thank the volunteers, we appreciate everything you do. I've heard Ken mention that. I truly believe you do value that. I believe that everybody in the county appreciates what the volunteers do here. But it goes beyond that. We need to work together as countywide. This isn't as individual entities, as local townships, as county commissioners. We need to find ways to continue the volunteer engine. And some might say, well, we work at that, they're just not there anymore. But the thing is we need to show them that there's a place for them. At Bascom, I think one of the things that we show is the ability to, we showed the investment with our station and with our equipment and with the staffing that we have there. Is everything work out perfectly? Is it a lot of work? Absolutely. It's a ton of work. But with that being said, if you look at any successful football program, basketball, baseball program, they all have that leadership starts at the top, but they're not just worried about what's going on at the top. They're bringing them in as those young 4th graders and 5th graders. You'll see that high school coach bringing them in, mentoring them, making sure the plays are similar, make sure that the mechanics are going that way. We see it in churches. Successful churches have vacation Bible schools. They're starting that at a young age and instilling that into their mind. I think it's time that we take that approach countywide. I think that the commissioners are truly concerned. But I will tell you that in my years at Bascom, I have never seen a county official at a board meeting. Now, it might have been prior to me attending board meetings, but I've been attending board meetings for quite some time. Until this past year, one of the best things that we found was when the two of the sheriff candidates showed up at Bascom to our meetings. They ended up leaving there with very good questions of needs that are out there. This is how we can move forward together as a county to move further along with our emergency services. We are going to have to adapt, but let's do it in an approach that we make sure that there's a place for the volunteers that are in place. Let's try to work to build that program and make sure that approach is there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Jimmy, anybody else?
Seeing none at this time. Let me look at the Facebook really quick. Nothing there. Also, though, if you are on the Facebook and you'd like to call into the Zoom call, I'm going to repost the information on how you can dial in and be a part of this call before we sign off.
Jimmy, I see somebody has their hand up.
I see that now. So, Bob, go ahead and unmute yourself and come forward.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name's Bob Farrell. I'm a paramedic with Scipio Republic Fire EMS, Seneca County Echo Unit. I'd like to reiterate that I have talked to Mr. Thomas. He came out to one of our board meetings. He's the only one that I've seen at our board meetings since we've had a board. And I agree with Chris, we need to see everybody. And I also think that the commissioners need to talk to all of the county coordinators in a small group and get their ideas and see what we can do. I do agree with some of Ken's ideas. I brought this up to commissioners back 30 years ago that the county system was going to be failing. And the commissioners at that time looked at it and said, no, everything's going fine. Well, here we are again today talking about it. So we need something done, but we have to make sure we do not leave out volunteers, because we have done this for over 40 years. That's all I need to say.
Thank you, Bob. I'm making some good notes. I have some thoughts, but we're going to save those for a little later. Anybody else want to circle back under public comment? Back to you, Jimmy.
Okay, so yeah, one last time, if you are with us on Facebook Live, I just put the phone number in and the meeting ID if you'd like to join us to make a comment here before we finish the meeting up. If you're on the phone line right now and you need to unmute, you can press *6. Other than that, I do not see anything in the chat or the comments, so maybe just give it another minute here. Any closing thoughts from anyone else?
Ken, you got any closing thoughts?
Well, I appreciate as many people as came today. I know we're going to have another one of these tonight, and I will do our best to mirror what we said, but usually I say what I say from the heart, and it always doesn't come out the same, so don't hold that against me. It'll be the same message, it just might have different words. To give everybody a little bit of backstory, just a little bit. When I started here in 2007, I went to every high school, college, Owens, Terra, Sentinel, Vanguard, Columbian, Calvert. I even went to Toledo and I tried to recruit, and I had a few commissioners go with me. Back in those days, I had Mike Breidinger and then later I had Jeff Wagner and Holly Stacy. introducing me to people in higher parts of education that could try and get us recruits. And I have to say we were very successful in recruiting some folks. We just have been very unsuccessful in retaining those folks because we train them up and they leave. And I don't blame them, because if you want to do this for a living, you can't do it here. So that's unfortunate. I'd like to see that becomes a career path, but I also want to continue to keep volunteers at the forefront of what we do and how we do it, because you can't argue with success. And we've been very good at what we do for a very long time. We just need to move forward and make something sustainable from this. And I'm confident that we can do it. We have excellent leadership amongst the fire and EMS departments, and we have people who think way outside of the box to get a problem solved, because that's what we do. So I appreciate everybody's time, and I'm always open to suggestions. And as the commissioners know, I have alternates to the plan that I have submitted. That is the overall far-reaching goal. But I've got a 1 squad, 2 squad, 3 squad, 4 squad model. I've got all those things written, and I can tell you this, and I'm going to do a little edification right now. If you want to listen to someone who has experience in EMS, Bob Farrell's the guy you should listen to. He's been doing it as long as I've been alive. So in pretty much every capacity. And I have a lot of respect for him, and I appreciate his time today.
Okay, if there's no one else, we will conclude this meeting. It'll be a very similar format tonight. I think in speaking with the other commissioners, we don't want to waste everyone's time. We will have a work session and put together a plan to create a process moving forward with a timeline, how we go forward and address some of these issues, continue to gather information, how we involve people, how we communicate things out back to people. I think that's expected from all of you, from us. And again, we plan on doing that. We want to reserve till after tonight and an opportunity for all of us to get together and discuss that, how that might look. So you can expect to hear back from us. There are a lot of rumors. I just want to set the record straight. Ken Majors, either one of the commissioners individually, none of us have the power to do anything. Ken works for us, we work for you, so we're all in this together. So I think the best way to keep the message straight is to follow Jimmy as he puts out press releases on our meetings, watch the videos, attend the meetings. If we sense something's getting a little wacky, as a commissioner, I'll address it, bring that public and answer it. We want to keep everybody moving forward. We're not all going to agree, but the one thing we can agree on is that we have a consistent message. I'll promise to do that. If we have no other calls, I would like to adjourn this meeting, and we will open up at 7 o'clock tonight. Thank you.